Hello, and welcome to this tutorial where I'll talk to you about creating bleeds in your document. The concept of bleeds, and what I'm about to show you, applies to any document really, regardless of the software. I'm using InDesign to show it to you, but this would also apply for Illustrator. In Photoshop, you have to build in the bleeds, and that's another tutorial we'll show you later. So for example, in InDesign and Illustrator, we're going to talk about how you pull bleeds or create bleeds. In printer terminology, if this is what the final product would look like, you can see that some of the images stop at the edge of the paper. However, that's not how we would set the file up before we sent it to print. We would have to pull a bleed so that when this was cut, it would create the illusion that it runs off the edges. If I don't pull the bleeds and I just have the box stop at the edge, when they cut this out, it would create a thin white hairline around your shapes. And you don't want that. So, to pull the bleeds means you actually have to create the graphic or make the graphic big enough that it goes 1/8 of an inch, at least, past the edge of your paper. Let's start with the palm tree trunk here. By simply clicking on the box and not the dial, I get the bounding box that will allow me to then increase the size of the box so that it comes out 1/8 of an inch. If you look at your rulers up here when they're set to inches, 1/8 of an inch, and this is actually a quarter, it's the first line after the number. 1/4 inch is fine. It's a little big, but more is always better. You just don't want it really, really large past the edges. So if you wanted to do 1/8 of an inch, then you would just do it at about the halfway mark between the number and the first tick mark on the ruler. So for our water, again, the box, but the graphic that's inside the box has to be 1/8 of an inch past the edge. You can see how I could keep pulling this out to show more of the wave, but this becomes excessive. Again, I only need the graphic to go past the edge about 1/8 of an inch. If I want to adjust to show more of that wave, well, the box is already set up for 1/8 of an inch bleed that I can click on the dial and simply move the wave up so that I can show more of the wave. But in the end, you just have to be aware that if you want something to look like it stops at the edge of the page, whether it's a graphic or photo or type, it's more than just the box has to go 1/8 of an inch. It's whatever is inside the box, the graphic or photo or type. And that's how we create bleeds in InDesign.